really, let me just start with a quick quote from Kevin Durant where he said it took seconds for him to decide to join the Brooklyn Nets. But another quote that's making the rounds is Kyrie Irving on Kevin Durant. And let me just read this. He says, "We all know K was not ready to go into that environment." And he was talking about the NBA Finals and how he sat out 31 games. "We put him on the national stage in the finals to end up selling a product that came before the person Kevin. And now I'm here to protect that." And he went on to say, "I'm here to protect Kevin from this sort of thing happening again. I want him to be 100, and he said 1% healthy before he comes back, and I'm not going to let anyone else put pressure on him." Jalen, your thoughts on Kyrie being Kevin Durant's protector and his comments that Kevin Durant shouldn't have come back in the finals?
So there are a few things to unpack here. One, KD was not ready to go. His workout that Friday, I went on NBA Countdown, said it didn't go well, said he shouldn't return. I initially picked the Raptors to win the series from the beginning because I felt like he wasn't going to be able to perform at an elite level. And it showed by the way he ended up getting injured. You depart from the Golden State Warriors, and I understand everybody has reasons for leaving. And initially he talked about how the style of play with Brooklyn was something that he was enthusiastic about being a part of, which in hindsight throws a little shade at the Golden State Warriors style of play that you wanted to join, so much so that you won back-to-back finals MVPs. So now you're in Brooklyn. I initially thought that he was considering going to the Knicks. That's what my intel was telling me. And then all of a sudden, Kyrie shook loose from the Boston Celtics. Kyrie was the lead domino for both of them to end up in Brooklyn. Now, a narrative that he's feeding is actually one that it seems to frustrate KD, is that somebody else is the leader, not him. It's almost like Kyrie now is accepting this little big brother type of role for KD and saying he's going to be the guy that makes sure he doesn't go out there and play injured and all types of things like that. When in actuality, if KD was saying that for himself, that wouldn't feed into a narrative that seems to upset him when he was in OKC because people felt like Russell was the alpha. Same when he was in Golden State. We know about the blow up he had with Draymond Green. Now, to press day, Kyrie's still talking about the injury, in theory throwing shade at the Golden State Warriors. KD already said that it was his decision ultimately to play. So now this just now re-engages all of these conversations that seem like both of these guys who were miserable last year when we saw them in the media every time somebody put a camera in front of them, now he's drummed up those conversations again.
Exactly. So he said he's going to protect Kevin Durant, and the first thing he does is not protect Kevin Durant from questions about Kyrie saying that he shouldn't have played in the finals. So, this is... But we know this league, and we know these two guys. They are very emotional. And they also have their other friend in DeAndre Jordan on the team. So these three guys, they got together because they're very, very close. And Kyrie had this to say. KD and DJ, it was 4:16 in the morning, and we sat and talked about the future on how this opportunity ahead of us is something we haven't had in our careers. And they also went on to say that they want to finish their careers together. What is your take on, can this mixture of emotions work together for the goal of winning a title?
I think these two gentlemen have a level of respect for one another and a friendship that carries on the floor. We talked about it earlier in the show. When you have a relationship off the court, it doesn't turn into an argument when you make a mistake. It becomes my bad because you're doing it for the greater good and you're willing to sacrifice for those that you have love for. Playing in the Eastern Conference, they're going to catapult themselves immediately once KD comes back to being arguably the best team in that conference. But what I'm looking to see is how Kyrie is able to hold it together this year because KD ain't playing. And so they have some other good young talent. Karis LeVert was on his way to be an all-star last year. I think he's going to have another breakout type year coming back from injury. Taurean Prince is a knockdown three-point shooter. People didn't really get a chance to see him much in Atlanta. I think he's going to make some noise. So can Kyrie continue to nurture these guys while KD is out? Because the Nets won't be a favorite without KD.
At some point in your life, you played on a basketball team with your best friends, right? I would assume.
Yeah,
did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy playing with your best friends more than a colleague because this is a career?
Absolutely. And the idea when athletes tell you, oh, I play just as hard against my brother or my friend as I do against my enemy, that's an absolute lie, okay? In reverse, when you play with your brothers, I was fortunate enough to have that in high school at Detroit Southwestern. Vaughn Leonard and Howard Isley, both of those guys went on to play in college and in the NBA. And obviously the Fab Five was probably one of the most unique bonds in sports.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.